Hello everyone, it's Anna here. In this video, I'm gonna show you a Cossack town of Novocherkassk, and I will tell you about the terrible one that took place some 60 years ago. Stay tuned. Right now we're walking on one of the streets of Novocherkassk. The houses here are very old, you can see that. And the streets, even in the center of Novocherkassk, are not really tidy. So there are no lawns and you can see garbage here. This is some kind of destroyed building. People who live in towns, in apartments, try to make use of any pieces of land that they have by their houses and grow some kind of vegetables, fruits, even potatoes and raspberries. We can see here people grow raspberries, currant. Over there it's blossoming right now. Today is the 1st of May, by the way. So these are the yards of the Novocherkassk. People leave their cars here, so these are traditional Russian garages, metal garages for the cars and to keep all kinds of stuff, old stuff, some and fish rods. By the way, look at this, very nice. It is very quiet and peaceful here. Novocherkassk is actually not a very big town. The population is about 168,000 people, and the center is quite quiet. So here are the post boxes. Of the people who live in this house and in those houses. Very aesthetic house. In our town, there are no such houses, there are no such backyards, and so for me it's very nice walking here, enjoying the nice weather and the peacefulness and quietness of this old town. interesting how these houses are glued to each other. So these are three different houses, all very close to each other. And the broken pavements, the usual disaster of Russia. Oh my god. There are some nice houses like this one. There are some wooden houses. They're all different in style, all different in color and in size. So it's quite aesthetic. Okay guys, I hope you've enjoyed the walk and the aesthetics of the old Russian town. And right now we're gonna go to the historical part of the city.
Novocherkassk was founded in 1805 by the Ataman of the Don Cossacks, Matvey Platov, as the administrative center of the Don Host Oblast. The original administrative center, the village of Cherkassk, was deemed unsuitable as the capital. It was repeatedly flooded, and it was prone to destructive fires due to its chaotic layout and wooden buildings.
Novocherkassk was designed in the popular traditions of the European models of urban development, with spacious boulevards, wide avenues, with the boulevards full of greenery. And de Volan, Franz de Volan, he called this mini Paris. He said that it would be mini Paris, little Paris.
In the very heart of the city is its main attraction, the patriarchal Ascension Cathedral, military Cossack Cathedral. This is the third largest cathedral in Russia. It began to be erected during the founding of the city. There were two construction and design attempts that were unsuccessful. Weak groundwater at a shallow depth did not allow the construction of such a massive temple to be completed. As a result of the collapse, it went underground from its own gravity. The third unsuccessful attempt at construction was carried out according to the project of Alexander Yashchenko. The construction and decoration of the temple was completed by 1904, but the building was opened and consecrated only in 1905 in the presence of Nicholas II. Matvey Platov, the founder of the city, and other Atamans of the Don Cossack host are buried in the church.
christening a child here. In June 1962, the labor strikes from the workers of the electrical locomotive works took place here in Novocherkassk. The riots were over the price rises on meat and dairy that were announced by Nikita Khrushchev and published in the newspapers. As the KGB reported at the time, there were numerous individuals throughout the country who expressed their discontent with the price increases and produced the leaflets and called for strikes. But only in Novocherkassk the strikes actually took place. The reasons for that were poor working conditions, the increase of the minimum quotas for each worker at the factory, and the reduce of pay rates. Several thousand of workers from the factory marched to the headquarters of the Communist Party in the center of the city. At Moscow's order, the military turned their machine guns on the unarmed demonstrators. At least 26 protesters were killed and 86 were wounded. After the demonstration, the curfew was implemented and the dead bodies were secretly buried in the cemeteries of other towns of Rostov region. However, the following morning, a large group of demonstrators gathered again in the square. 116 were arrested, of which 14 were convicted by show trials, 7 of those receiving a death sentence and were executed. The others were sentenced to prison terms of 10 to 15 years. Within 3 days, all the mention of Novocherkassk disappeared from the state-controlled press. 13 years later, Alexander Solzhenitsyn published a few pages of rough description in his third volume of Gulag Archipelago, but that was banned material in the Soviet Union until the 1992. In 1992, there was an investigation. The remains of the 20 bodies were recovered, identified, and reburied in the cemetery of Novocherkassk. Major suspects among the high Soviet officials, such as Nikita Khrushchev, Anastas Mikoyan, Frol Kozlov, and several others who were deemed responsible for the massacre, were never held accountable due to their deaths by the time the investigation had started. Behind me you can see the Ataman Palace. It was an official residence of the Cossack chieftains of Don Host Oblast. It was built in 1863 and it was visited by Alexander II, Alexander III, and Nikolai II. It is officially declared as an object of cultural heritage of Russia.
Since the building of the palace, 12 Atamans lived here with their families. They were all generals of the court circle and represented noble elite of the Russian Empire. It served as the residence not only of the Don Ataman, but of the Russian Emperor as well, if he came to Novocherkassk. During Russian Civil War, the palace was the headquarters of the leaders of White movement on the Don. In 1942, when Novocherkassk was occupied by the Wehrmacht, German military occupation office was accommodated here in the palace. Novocherkassk has a special charm, comfort, and atmosphere of the Cossacks. The ancient churches, monuments, and iconic places are located throughout the city. It seems to be in the air, as in that same 1805.
We are leaving the town now, and on our way out of the town there is a Triumphal arch. It is a monumental complex consisting of two arches. One arch in the southwest of the town and another one is here in the north part of the town. These two arches are the monuments of Russian classicism. They were built in 1817 in the honor of the victory against Napoleon.